30th January, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashevua with Rashi, Teruma. Hi, Yechiel. How you doing?
Starting Teruma.
Teruma, Parsha Teruma.
What Chumash do you use? The English translation?
I use the art scroll.
Did you send out anything?
Okay. Lou, I tried to call you back.
Yeah.
So you called me.
Yeah, no problem. I just wanted to tell you that I have a plumber here, so I'm not going to be able to participate. And I just made you the host. So if anybody tries to get in, you should be able to let them in.
Okay, fine. Beseder Gamo.
Sorry about that, but we've got this really bad leak. We got to get it fixed because every time it rains, it floods the whole house.
Well, let's get the Shin Bet involved.
What?
Get the Shin Bet involved with the leaks if you've got leaks.
Shin bet?
Um,
You know,
okay, let's go. Take out my picture books. Yechiel, you're my guest. I don't hear you, you're on mute.
All right,
Sorry?
don't talk loud enough.
Okay. Fine, let's go. Parshas Teruma. All about the Mishkan. All about the Mishkan. Okay. I guess you want me to do the reading? Yechiel? Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe leimar. Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, okay, Daber el Bnei Israel, speak to the children of Israel, v'yikchu li truma, and they shall take for me truma. Okay, now who's the taking? The giving, l'chayra. So it's interesting. I just now heard on a tape from Rabbi Isaac Bernstein, who's a beautiful Chumash shir. It's recorded on tape. He's not, unfortunately, he's no longer alive, but he gave a beautiful. Used to give on regularly once a week. He used to give a Chumash shir of about an hour's duration, and covered very interesting points. Anyway, he brings the quotes here. The Briskerov, Yitzchok Zev Soloveitchik, said, Pshat, is this pasuk is not addressed to the donors of Klal Yisrael. It's addressed to the community representatives who are the ones who are going to be in charge of supervising the building of the Mishkan. Okay? So Kosh Baruch is telling Moshe, speak to those members of the Bnei Israel, v'yikchu li truma, they shall take truma from the people, the rank and file, the members, all the members of Klal Yisrael. From who should they take it? Me'ez kol ish asher yidvenu libo, from any man who feels generous. Means his heart literally wants to donate. Right. You shall take my truma. So this is who Moshe Rabbeinu is addressing. These community representatives, they shall, you community representatives, you shall take my truma. Okay, we're going to see in Rashi in a minute that there was more than one truma. Okay, because it says it's actually with three trumas. It says Daber Bnei Israel. Oh, Mayor Bansha wants to be admitted. 1 second. Hi, Mayor. Hello, Mayor.
Good morning, Shavua Tov.
I just want to reduce. Do you hear me very loudly?
No, it sounds normal to me.
I just hear everybody very loudly, and they want to reduce the 1 second. Okay. We're actually on the second pasuk over here. That's why I'm just explaining that this pasuk is addressed to the community representatives, the ones who were to supervise under Moshe's auspices, obviously. They were to supervise the construction of the Mishkan. So that's what Kosh Baruch is telling Moshe. Daber Bnei Israel, speak to the children of Israel. V'yikchu li truma, they shall take for me truma. Meaning they are the ones who are going to be in charge of accepting the donations. Me'ez kol ish asher yidvenu libo, from every man who feels generous, tikhu es trumasi, you shall take my truma. And then the next pasuk is going to say, I'm going to read the next pasuk as well, because it goes together. V'zoisa truma, this is the truma asher tikhu meitam, that you shall take from them. Right, from, in other words, you community representatives shall take from all the individuals of Klal Yisrael. Zahav v'chesef u'nechoshes. Okay, gold, silver, and copper. I'm going to have a whole list over here. But Rashi is going to dwell on this. Okay, so let's see the Rashi over here. Meir, would you like to read the Rashi? V'yikchu li teruma.
Okay. Vayichu li truma, you shall take a portion. Okay. Li lishmi. For me, this is what, for my name, it looks
For my
like,
sake, really, Lishmi,
for my sake.
dedicated for my purposes, right? When you say L'Shem Shomayim, means for the sake of heaven, right? This means Lishmi, Akash Baruch Hu is saying, for my sake.
Uh-huh. Okay, so Lishmi is literal then, my name, but okay, for my sake. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue. So Rashi, I wanted to point out over here that what Rashi is saying over here is that Akash Baruch Hu doesn't need our money. Okay, he doesn't need we say Mimcha Hakoil Umiyadcha Nasanu Lach. Miyadcha Nasanu Lach. Means Akash Baruch Hu, everything belongs to Akash Baruch Hu. So even if we give Kaviyachol gifts to Akash Baruch Hu, it's from Akash Baruch Hu himself. Akash Baruch Hu doesn't need our gifts. And it's when we say V'yikhu li Teruma, take from me, it means Akash Baruch Hu doesn't need a Teruma. What it means is Akash Baruch Hu wants us to give of what Hakadosh Baruch Hu, the money Hakadosh Baruch Hu has given us, we give it to donate it to, as we're going to see, for the purpose of building a Beis Hamikdash or a Mishkan, but it's for Hakadosh, for the sake of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. It should be dedicated for the purpose of using for the wishes which Hakadosh Baruch Hu wants it to be used for. Okay? Yeah. Teruma.
Okay, Teruma. So this is what's donated, right?
Right.
Okay. Hafrasha. It's the separation.
It means
Hafrasha.
Hafrasha means it's something separated.
Oh, it's something separated.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, because the actual word Teruma means something elevated.
Oh.
From the word laharim, to raise.
Elevate.
So it's something which is, I would say, an elevated donation. So the point is that we separate from each person. We separate from what he has. Just a second. Everybody should separate from what he has and use that, dedicate that for an elevated purpose for building the Mishkan.
Oh, okay.
That's the idea of a Teruma.
Okay, so he says, let's see. Yafrishu li mi mamonam nidavar. So, okay. So he says, then set aside, okay, for me, their money as a donation.
Right.
Very interesting. Okay. Yidevenu libo. Let's see, that was in there. Yes. Okay. Something about your heart. Okay, hold on.
Okay, Rashi's going to explain. Okay.
Okay.
Loshen Nedova, Yidevenu Liboy, which means his heart donates.
So Yidevenu. Okay.
Any man who is, his heart literally means wishes to donate. Behu Loshen Rotzoin Toiv. It's an expression of goodwill. Means a person has a will to do good.
So that there was no limitation of how much they could contribute then?
Oh, we're going to see in the next Rashi.
Oh, okay.
Certain things there was no limits, other things there was. Okay?
Oh, okay. And then it says Old French,
Présent.
Frishan. Yeah, I don't know French, so.
By the way, an important cloud, Rashi, almost every time when Rashi says in the French word, what looks like a shin, it really means a sin. It's an S sound. Présent, présent, which means a present.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting.
Now, I'm telling you, whatever in my experience in the Rashi, whenever you see a shin in the Rashi, and it's transliterated as a shin, it's incorrect. It's a sin.
Ah. Puissant. Yeah.
Okay?
Very interesting. Okay. So let's see. Tichu et trumati. Okay, so you shall take my, this is elevation, I guess.
I just let me see how I translated it. Just 1 second.
Tichu is you'll take.
A selected contribution.
Oh,
I
select.
translated Teruma as a selected contribution. Which means, because the idea of Teruma means it should be selected, elevated from what you have.
Oh, okay. Not that it was specific items and selected, like copper, gold, or silver.
That also, but it means it was elevated. I didn't want to use the word elevated because it's sounds you've got to put it on stilts, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, it says Rashi over here. This is where Rashi's going to think. But first of all, Rashi points out there's 3 times it says. The first one it says V'yikhuli Truma. That's in the 3rd person, and then it says it's addressing Me'ez kol isha she'ivenu tikhu, you, the community representative, you shall take as Trumasi. Truma asher tikhu me'ito. So the word yikhu or tikhu is written 3 times. So it says Rashi, tikhu es Trumasi.
Oh, okay. Hold on. It says Rashi shows Truma. Okay.
Our rabbi said.
Oh, okay. Amru Rabotenu. Okay, Shlosh Trumot Amurot Khan. Okay, so as you said, it says 3. Our rabbi said 3 times that it's written, said here. Achat Trumat Beka Galo Gigulolet Shenasu Mehem Ha'adanin. So let's see. So that's 1. Was a beka? What's a beka?
Beka is a weight.
Oh, a weight.
A particular coin, particular amount of silver, weight of silver.
Oh, so they took that from one for each from one person.
Right. For every Gugoles is literally a skull.
Oh.
It means per head.
Per head. Okay.
Per head. Right? Shana, as we're going to see, it's not actually elaborated on in this week's Parsha here, but in Parsha's Kisisa, and this was the Machatzis HaShekel, which every individual had to give towards, originally towards the building of the Mishkan. And besides that, later on, every year, that's what Masechah Shkolim is all about, tells us, every year, each individual member of the Jewish people had to donate a half a shekel towards what is actually was half a shekel of holy shkolim, which was equivalent to a full shekel of the regular coinage. And that they had to donate that 1 shekel towards each individual's contribution towards the korbanos tzibor, which were brought during the year. In fact, it's interesting. Actually, we're almost up to Parsha Shkolim, actually, because it's Shana Muberes. Had it been a regular year, this Shabbos, Parsha Shabbos, would have been Parsha Shkolim. But now we're going to have 2 Adars this year, so it's only going to be in 4 weeks' time before Rosh Chodesh Adar Sheni. But the point is then that Echad Ba'adar Mashmim Al Shkolim. That's the first mission in Shkolim, that at the beginning of Adar, Beis Din would make an announcement. Okay, everybody, it's coming up to Rosh Chodesh Adar. So today is Rosh Chodesh Adar. Everybody get ready to donate their shkolim towards the coming fiscal year of the Beis Hamikdash, where all your shkolim are going to be used towards towards the sacrifices, the korbanos tzibor, which are going to be offered in the coming year. When does the Beis Hamikdash year run? It runs from Rosh Chodesh Nisan of 1 year to Rosh Chodesh, or the end of Adar, to Chof Tes Adar of the next year. So that was during that. So let's say Beis Hamikdash. So we will donate. Each person will donate a half a silver shekel, or it's actually a full regular shekel, which is equivalent to a half a holy type of shekel. Each person will donate a shekel towards the community chest, from which the money was derived to buy animals for korbanos tzibor, for public sacrifices. Okay, so that was the thing. So that's what Rashi's saying. So Rashi's pointing out that the first time, before there was a Mishkan, the first time they donated this shekel, machatzis shekel, half a holy type of shekel, which was equivalent to a beka. Okay, that half shekel was given towards the silver that was used in the construction of the base of the Mishkan. So whatever silver that was required for the construction of the Mishkan, that's what was this. The first half shekel, which the Jewish people donated, that was taken from that half shekel. So that's what Rashi goes on to explain. Achas, the first truma was trumas beka lagugoles. Was the beka weight, which is a half a shekel, lagugoles. Shenasu mahem. Carry on.
Shenasu mahem ha'adanim, which from which what they made the sockets.
Okay. The actual more correct translation of the word adonim is actually bases, because they acted as the base for the beams.
Oh.
And you use it in Ivrit as well. Eden hachalon means the window sill. It's not a socket. I mean, it happened.
Oh, okay.
They were constructed as sockets. The meaning of the word Eden, right? Adonim is bases.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. As it was what's explained in Parshat Eila Pekudei. Oh,
Right.
that's a Torah portion.
The first section then in Eila Pekudei, Parshas Pekudei, says quite clearly that the Torah makes a cheshbon, that there were 603,550 men who donated each half a shekel.
Mm-hmm.
That made that there was 301,775 shkolim, because that's 603,550 half shkolim is equivalent to 301,775 shkolim. Okay?
Here.
And the Torah says quite clearly that the 300,000 shkolim was equivalent to 100 kikar, 100 talents. I don't know where the word talent comes from. Maybe they had a contest to decide what to call it. So anyway, Akoponim, that's each 3,000 shkolim made up 1 talent. So there were 300,000 shkolim became 100 talents, and each socket, or I call it socket, each base was weighed 1 talent, which is actually, if you want to know how much it is in actual weight, so that means each one weighed 3,000 shkolim. How much is each shekel? I can't remember how many ounces it is, but it came out, I think, that each base weighed about 60 kilo.
Wow.
It's quite heavy.
Okay. Well, I guess it had to hold it up.
It would have to be enough weight that the beams themselves were also were very heavy, extremely heavy. Rabbeinu naturally could not lift them. It's a tremendous weight, and Lamaisa, each beam had a pair of bases, silver bases. Akoponim, that's what it was used for. So Rashi said, okay.
Okay.
The achas.
Okay, v'achat trumat hamizbeach. So one was used, one portion, I guess, was for the mizbeach.
Right. Again, beka lagogoles. Again, this amount of the same coin given, beka lagogoles. What was that for?
Lakupat, for the boxes?
Lakupos means for the, literally means for the pushkas. I don't know how to use a word in English. What's the word for English? It literally means boxes, but it means specifically where charity money is collected.
Yeah, like a charity box or something. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Piggy bank.
Huh?
Piggy bank.
Piggy bank.
Dovo Acher bank. Right. Okay.
Okay. So liknot mehem karbanot tzibur. Oh, so from this they purchased the
Korban
tzibur, the communal offering. Oh, okay.
Now it's interesting. Rashi doesn't mention this over here, but just in beginning of Parshas Bamidbar, Rashi actually also mentions this, I think, in Parshas Kisisa as well, that this was not donated now at the time of the construction of the Mishkan, but it was donated once the Mishkan had been completed on Rosh Chodesh Iyar, a month after the Mishkan was created, was constructed. That's when this donation of half a shekel was given by each individual, and it was used towards the korbanos. And this was in the census which the Torah writes about in the beginning of Parshas Bamidbar. So it was quite a bit later. It's interesting. Rashi points this out later, but we see from the beginning of Parshas Pekudei, there was like a census then when each individual gave half a shekel towards the construction of the Mishkan. And there was another census, as the Torah writes, at the beginning of Iyar, after the Mishkan was constructed, for which the half a shekel went towards the korbanos. And it so happens, as Rashi pointed out over there, in the beginning of Parshas Bamidbar, there was exactly the same number of men from the age of 20 and up.
Wow.
And Rashi explains there because really it's going from the same starting point. The point of accounting was whoever turned 20 by Rosh Hashanah of that year. Here, this in a time frame, this is this commandment for the Jewish people to donate half a shekel towards the construction of the Mishkan was said the day after Yom Kippur.
Mhm.
After Moshe Rabbeinu came down with the second tablets of stone, the second sets of the 10 commandments, after he came down, that was on Yom Kippur. The next day, Moshe Rabbeinu told them about, okay, we've got to start the job. We've got to start on the project of building a Mishkan. So he told the people about it. And this is Betzim when this Parsha, the whole of Parsha's Teruma was told to them. And that's what they were told. Everybody's got to bring donations towards the Mishkan. So as Rashi points out over here, the silver component of the construction of the Mishkan came from the half a shekel. That's what Rashi says. That was the first one. Shenas mena adonim. Okay, and then the second truma was another half a shekel, a silver half shekel, which was used for the community chest from which they acquired the animals towards the Carbonist Sea. Okay, and then the achas.
Where are we here? Just lost.
We said Bekala Gugoles, the Kupa is Liknos Bem Carbonist Sea.
And so Nidavat Kol Echad V'Echad. So they each gave.
This is the third one. The achas Trumas HaMishkan, Nidvas Kol Echad Ve'echad. Like a free will donation. Shisnadvu, that each person they gave whatever they felt, whatever they wanted to give, whatever amount they wanted to give. And Lemaisa, the Torah describes over here, from which materials they were supposed to donate.
Oh, shit.
Anything.
Shosha Sadivarim Hamurim Be'inyan.
13 materials which are mentioned over here in the over here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's interesting because if you count, you'll see that number 13 doesn't fit. Okay. Anyway, let's just finish the Rashi.
Okay. So let's see. I have Zahav Vakesef Unechoshet Kol HaMinuyim Be'inyan.
Right.
Okay. So gold, silver, and copper were, I guess, enumerated here.
Right. Kulam.
Kulam hutzrachu limlechet hamishkan, and all were necessary for the building, I guess, the work on the Mishkan. Okay. Oh, vigdei kahuna, or for the clothes of the priests, keshetidakdek bahem. The dakdek is being specific with them.
When you
Particular, maybe with them.
when you look, you check into it. When you, I guess, when you check into the details, things, then you'll see that all these different types of materials were required for all that. This was all. These are the 13, which that was all that was required. No less and no more. Okay. Okay, now there's one more Rashi on the pasuk here. Zahav. You have another Rashi here?
Oh, yeah, for Gimel. It says Zahava Kesev Unechoshet V'Gomer.
Yeah, because we already did Gimel, because I've got my.
Oh, we did both of them? Okay.
Kulam.
So Kulam Ba'u B'Nidavar. So all of them came as a voluntarily.
Right.
Okay. Ish ma shinidavo libo. From each person who had that before, nidavo,
What do you
voluntarily gave.
Right.
Okay.
Now Rashi pointing out chutz mina kesef.
Oh.
Even though the Torah puts them all equally, gold, silver, and copper. Okay, but Rashi's pointing out that silver was different from all the other donations.
Oh, so what, it came in equal amounts, I guess, b'shaveh?
The silver, everybody's contribution was the same.
Oh, it says right here, Machzir shekel l'chol echad, right?
It's half a shekel. And the Maisa, the Mefarshim speak about in the beginning of Parshas Kisisa, where it mentions this specifically. The whole idea was that everybody should be equal, even though, as far as all the other donations were concerned, it was whatever each person, it was dependent on the individual choice and will, how much he gave. Okay, but the Torah prescribes that each individual had to give half a shekel, and that went towards the silver half shekel, and that went towards the, as Rashi mentioned before, that went towards the adonim, towards the basis of the Mishkan. And the Mefarshim explain over here, the idea is that if we're having Mishkan, which obviously is a communal building, means the construction, the building of the Mishkan was something which the community as a whole were doing. And then there, everybody's contribution, at least the base of this building, had to be that everybody was equal in it. No person can say, well, I've got a greater contribution in this building than anybody else. To the basis of this building, of the Mishkan, everybody was equal.
Okay. V'lo matzinu b'chol melechet hamishkan shehutzrach sham kesef yoter. And we found in all the work on the Mishkan.
We have not found.
We have found?
No,
not found. Lo, I'm sorry, we have not found, right. The work of the Mishkan that the amount of, I guess, silver was needed there.
Silver for anything else. Shenema
v'chesed pekudei ha'eda v'gomer beka l'guglo let v'gomer.
Okay.
So it was said, okay.
Now,
And
that's the point of it. So that in fact, the Torah makes a cheshbon there in the beginning of Parshas Pekudei. There was an extra 1,775 shkolim. Okay. So what did they do with that? Because they only needed, for the bases, they only needed 300,000 shkolim, which was that's 100 talents of silver, which was either 3,000 shkolim in a talent. So it means 300,000 shkolim were used for the bases, but there was still left over 1,775 shkolim, and they were used for the various other places in the Mishkan where there were required silver.
Oh, okay.
Silver hooks. Some of the pillars had silver hooks or silver bands, and other places where they used silver. Okay, so but Rashi says now this pasuk implies there was a free will donation of silver as well, because it says each person who feels generous. So that says Rashi. Okay.
So asauhu lichlei sharet.
Those were used as serving utensils. Means like
lichlei sharet.
Okay.
They
needed things like bowls for sprinkling the blood, other things which the Torah doesn't necessarily describe specifically how they were made. So says Rashi, they were used from the extra free will donated silver. Okay? Yeah. Lou, you want to read Pasuk Dalet? We have time just for, it's not so long.
Okay, Dalet. Usecheles v'argaman v'so la'as shani v'shesh v'izim. Okay, so that is Techeles, which is the blue wool.
Right.
Argaman is purple wool.
Right.
So laas is red wool.
Right.
Uh,
Glad you translate red and not crimson because it was more like scarlet.
Scarlet. Yeah, my English says scarlet.
Okay. Good.
Shani.
That's the thing. Tolaz Shoni. It was the reason why it's called Tolaz Shoni because the dye is derived from this kind of Shoni worm, a certain worm which excreted this dye. That's why the color is called Tolaz Shoni. But
the color of the worm.
The name of the color was Shoni, which means kind of a scarlet red. But it's called Tolaz Shoni because that's the source of where the dye was derived was from this worm which excreted this dye. Okay.
And Shesh is linen.
Right.
And Izim is goat's hair.
Okay, that's what Rashi is going to point out here. Let's do the Rashi here.
Okay, the Sacheles, which is the blue wool, Tzemer Tzavua Bidam Chalizon.
Chalazon.
Chalazon.
Chalazon or chilazon.
So it is the wool that is dyed with the blood of a chilazon.
Okay, so the question is, what is a chilazon? Okay, some say it's a kind of, in Ivrit, they use the word chilazon for a snail. But anyway, I'm not sure exactly what it is, according to Chazal. But it's some sort of creature, similar kind of snail, some kind of creeping creature. Okay.
Aren't there people who claim to have discovered chilazon?
Yeah, whatever. There is a thing. That is actually some sort of snail. It's some sort of creature which has a shell back. Okay. But anyway, the point is the color itself. Chazal tell us.
B'tzivo yarok.
Oh, so Rashi
green.
Green. Okay, so that's what I translated as aquamarine. The reason why it is aquamarine is like a blue-green, like turquoise, but it's similar to turquoise. The reason that it was because the Gemara says, the famous Gemara, Tcheles doime leyam, yam doime lerakia, rakia doime lekisa hakovet. Says that Tcheles is sea blue. It's a sea color, which is blue-green, kind of blue-green color. Okay.
And that's also the color of the Kisei HaKavod?
Right, it's similar. Now, interesting, I once heard the interesting thing that if you notice the color aquamarine, turquoise, whatever, that color does not appear naturally on any vegetation, flower, or anything like that. It's a sea color. That's it. That is what it signifies, the sea. You don't find that color on any plant or flower or any vegetation on dry land. Naturally, that is. You have purples, you have reds, you have oranges, you have yellows, all kinds of different kinds of colors. But this kind of sea blue, blue-green, the sea turquoise does not appear on land. So therefore, Chazal said correctly,
but the sky is usually referred to as sky blue, not sea green.
Yes, otherwise you have sea blue as well, 100%. It may be so, though, whatever, they consider it more blue than green. Okay. But
now the Kisei HaKavod,
okay.
that's not a real physical thing. How can we refer to that as having a color?
Let me ask you then, if you say it's not a physical thing, how do you explain the last week's Parsha, the end of last week's Parsha towards chapter 24?
24.
Pasuk, chapter 24, Pasuk Yud, Pasuk 10.
Yud. Let's see. It says, they saw the God of Israel, and under his feet was that which had the form of a sapphire brick and was like the appearance of the heavens in purity.
Okay. Now, this is all obviously to be understood somewhat metaphoric. But
It
it's
has
also-
to be, because how can you see God?
Okay, first of all, they saw the, shall we say, the vision of God. Okay, but first it says, V'sachas raglo, underneath it, which means the kisei hakavod is k'ma'aseh livnas hasaper. Saper is sapphire, which is a blue hue to it.
Right.
Okay,
So what does that mean?
that means the kisei hakavod has a certain bluish color to it. What does that mean? I don't know. Etzem hashomayim latoya was
But we don't say that Hashem actually sits on a throne, because Hashem doesn't exist in physical form.
metaphysically, right?
So, I mean, you could also ask me, what does it mean when it says that Hashem said to Moshe, hold on to my throne and answer the angels?
But upon him, whatever, if it's really a physical object or not, but definitely it's represented by the color blue. That's
By the
he
what?
says. The
It's rep-
color blue, right?
Color
The
blue,
color
okay.
blue represents the color of the kisei hakavod.
Okay, I gotta run.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, it's late.
we'll
Yeah.
have to stop here, and Bez Hashem will follow. We continue tomorrow, Bez Hashem.
Okay, great. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for hosting, Rabbi. I'm sorry I was flaky, but we got this really bad leak.
Fix to your leaks.
We're working on it. He's got a camera now that he's pushing through the pipes to see if he can find out where the leak is coming from.
Well, so once you're the lowest floor.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been going to all the neighbors. We've been pouring water down their drains, and it's a big balagan. It's a big problem.
Wow. Anyway, Hashem should solve all your holy problems.
Amen, amen, amen.
Be well. Carlton.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.